So if you manage workers in different locations in Safety Sync, you might have run into a problem where you want to create a requirement, but you want it to be location specific. I'll show you an example of what I mean. If we head to certificate tracking, I'm going to click on this forklift operator ticket. And I want to assign this to my plant workers, but I only want to assign it to my plant workers in Canada. Currently, if I change that assignment, I'm affecting all 5 workers. So we've built an interface that allows you to actually manage requirements based off a worker's location. This does have to be enabled. It's an opt-in system. So just head to monitoring components, click on employee certificate tracking, and at the very bottom, you'll see enable assignment of certificates by location. Once enabled, we'll head back to certificate tracking. And if we click on this forklift operator ticket, we'll see that this interface has actually changed a little bit. Now all my locations are displayed along the top here. I still have the ability to assign this ticket based off a position. And keep in mind that we actually still consider that the default setting. So when I set this as required, if I want to make changes on a location base, we're going to consider that an exception. But I mentioned I wanted to assign this to my plant workers in Canada, so I'm going to set it as required. You'll see that it actually says it's going to affect all 4 locations. And I don't want it for my workers in Oklahoma. So we'll set that as not applicable, and you'll see that an exception is created. Now we're just going to remove this. Maybe I've changed my mind, and actually I want everyone in head office to have this forklift operator ticket. So I could click on each of these cells and set an exception, but there's a quicker way to do it. I can click on the header here. I'm going to overwrite this to required. And again, the reason it says overwrite is that things are normally done on the position level. And once I do that, there's an exception all the way down. And maybe I decide, okay, well, my plant workers don't need it, so I just remove that exception and we're back to how things were. Now, if I do want to change this for everyone, you can restore to default. And basically, defaults are down here, so I'm just really setting it to NA for everyone. If your company has a lot of locations, you might want to click on this display location button over here. This will allow you to only kind of show a few at a time. They are going to scroll off the page here, but we do have a little interface to handle that. And once you find a view you like, you can save it as your default view. Note that if I do remove a couple locations and I change something on the position level, it still says it's going to apply to all 4 locations. So just keep in mind that when I show this again, you will see that requirement set up. So that should do it for this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our support staff and we'd be happy to help.